This fourth video will address that although there are reasons to believe that educational research will ultimately show good results from this pedagogical approach, there are assorted challenges related to smartphones that cannot be ignored. We previously stated that we have yet to identify a student who didn't have access to a mobile device, but we have encountered many faculty who are very concerned regarding this issue. It is largely motivated by the digital divide, the worry that students with limited financial resources will not be able to obtain the necessary tools. However, we believe that faculty interested in teaching with smartphones are far more likely to encounter peers concerned about a lack of access than the lack of access itself. The perception is far greater than reality. Note that there are many easy solutions to this rarely encountered problem. Communicate effectively. Encourage students who believe that they have an issue to contact you immediately. Let students know that you are very eager to provide assistance. Make sure that students are aware that all activities can be done very effectively on a laptop or tablet. Since most students will use a smartphone, other students may think that they have to have one. Be aware of opportunities. Although details vary, many universities offer technology checkout. Laptop checkout is extensive at UNL, but there is no smartphone nor tablet checkout. Explore other options. A student may know a relative with an older retired smartphone that would work just fine for Wi-Fi access. Possibly there's an older laptop or two available in the faculty members department. Purchase of low-cost tablets. The Amazon Fire 7 tablet works very well to access the simulations described in this project and can read QR codes. In the toughest of situations, possibly the department or a local business could purchase a few to help students out. We encourage faculty who are going to make the smartphone leap to get out in front of the issue and be prepared with multiple solutions to assist students who do not have access to a mobile device and communicate those solutions to concerned colleagues. Although you will probably not need them, you will be well prepared if you do. Faculty concern is well-intentioned, but there is no data suggesting that low-income, Black, or Hispanic students do not have smartphones. In fact, Pew cites demographics that these groups are more likely to be smartphone dependent, to rely on accessing internet resources via smartphone. Thus, we believe that the digital divide may be improved by making focused use of a technology that students already have. We acknowledge that there are smartphone negatives, as many studies have shown that unstructured phone usage in the classroom has a negative impact on student learning. Other studies have shown that smartphone usage negatively affects nearby peers by drawing attention away from class. In some cases, the unstructured usage was quite substantial. One study found that psychology students spent almost 40 minutes out of every 100-minute class period using the internet for non-academic purposes, like checking email, engaging in social media, shopping, reading news, chatting, watching videos, playing games, etc., and an additional 27 minutes texting. The inherent inability of humans to multitask is ultimately at the root of the negative impacts. Recognition of these issues related to multitasking and distractions has led to over 50% of faculty banning smartphones from their classrooms. We don't believe that this is the right approach. The negatives are well understood and fully described in the literature, while existing curriculum and pedagogy are only beginning to scratch the surface of the positives that are possible. It is a very asymmetric weighing of the smartphone's positives and negatives. Bans also send the wrong message to students that we don't trust them to make the best decisions. In his book, Distracted, or Why Students Can't Focus and What You Can Do About It, James Lang provides guidance for faculty in the digital age. We have found this book quite useful in helping us to think about the challenges. Lang argues that distractions have always been there and that it is impossible to eliminate all distractions. I remember when I first started teaching, our student newspaper, the Daily Nebraskan, had a crossword puzzle that some students would complete during my class. I banish you, my mortal enemy. But Lang recognizes that distractions have evolved over time and that the smartphone is a unique adversary for a student's attention in the classroom. He encourages educators to rise to the occasion and bring their A game. His advice can be succinctly summarized as, cultivate attention, don't eliminate distractions. Attention spans are short, by one measure about 12 minutes, Educators should make every effort to make their content as engaging as they possibly can. In one short section of the book that I will expand upon as it resonated with me, Lang analyzed a symphonic performance and the techniques utilized to maintain the attention of the audience, and how it demonstrated a clear awareness of the limited attention span of the audience. Imagine a concert with the following program, opening with Copland's Fanfare for the Common Man, a short ceremonial piece from 1942 composed only for brass and percussion. It is commonly used to open concerts as it tends to get the audience's attention, stir patriotic feelings, and it's less than 3 minutes long. The conductor then welcomes the audience and teaches them a little about the next piece, Bach's Brandenburg Concerto No. 1. She relates that this piece from 1721 used a common form of the Baroque era, the concerto grosso, where a group of soloists plays together with a small orchestra. This piece is brisk and perky, illustrating the synergy of the ensemble and the sounds of strings and woodwinds, all a fresh change of pace from the first piece. Conductors often structure performances to take advantage of content from different musical periods, a healthy mix of Baroque, classical, romantic, impressionistic, and contemporary pieces, different meters, some fast, some slow, dynamic contrasts, some parts loud, some soft, different instrumentation, and soloists with varying tone color, and radically different backstories to the pieces. Lang encourages you to think in a similar fashion regarding what you do in the classroom and the attention span of your audience. Lang identifies 4 broad categories of smartphone classroom policies that faculty specify. The first policy category he calls laissez-faire, let things take their own course, and pretend that the issue doesn't exist or that it isn't important. He doesn't give this approach a good review. A second policy is the banning of smartphones. There are many problems with this approach. Many students have some type of disability and they use technology to handle it, and they shouldn't have to reveal private information to ask for an exception. It closes off opportunities for learning, like those that are the focus of this video series, as well as voting in peer instruction using smartphones. Many students also make use of ebooks these days and want to access their ebook in class. A third is student-generated policies, involving students in determining what the classroom policies will be after you first educate students regarding distractions. This treats students like adults, and they appreciate having a voice in policies that affect them. I personally would be willing to try this in an upper-level course, but not a 100-level general education course, and Lang hedges in a similar fashion, suggesting you might be better off presenting students with some options than leaving the process too unstructured. The final option is the one that Lang and I like the best, where the rules for technology in the classroom depend upon what is being done. If a smartphone is being used to learn astronomy, that technology use is okay. For other purposes unrelated to the class, it isn't allowed. Lang recommends clearly stating your policy on the syllabus in a friendly tone while explaining the underlying motivations, and goes on at considerable length on how to do that. Thank you for viewing this video series. You deserve some virtual chocolate for sticking it out for nearly 30 minutes. I have endeavored to convince you that teaching with smartphone simulations is interactive engagement with special appeal for today's college students, and it can be an effort with distinctive tonal quality in your symphonic classroom to assist you in cultivating attention. I close with the caution that I think it will become even more important in the future to teach digitally, as tomorrow's college students will be getting an even earlier start with smartphones. I want to thank my colleagues Chris Seidel, Amanda Williamson, Adam Davis, and Emily Welch for their contributions. I also acknowledge the American Astronomical Society for funding and promoting this work, and the efforts of EDUCAUSE and James Lang for keeping me informed. This video series has made extensive use of the images of Pexels and Pixabay, and we appreciate their making such images freely available. Thank you for your time. Ad Astra.